My name is Mathew Nuqingaq. I'm a jeweler from Iqaluit, Nunavut. How I got started? I thought I was an artist when I was little. As a kid, I was pretty good at drawing and totally loved it. And the older kids liked it too. So they thought, you know, they were pretty rough guys, but they liked my art, so it made it easy for me. And then I became a working man for many years, working for Hudson Bay, teaching. I taught for a few years. Totally loved teaching. One day I went to the Art College Christmas ornament sale, and then went to look at it. Then I saw their jewelry. When I saw the jewelry, wow, these are something totally different. I've never seen these kind of work before. Having seen Sears, catalogs and looking at jewelry, these were totally different. They had stories in them, some stories that we know, that we grew up with as kids, and something that really attracted me was everything was small. And I thought, wow, you can say so much with very little. So I totally fell in love with jewelry, and so I thought, wow, I want to do that. So I started taking evening courses. Took another one. I was taking so many. Every time they offered it, I took it in the evenings, and then I decided I'll teach kindergarten so I can. So I thought I would teach kindergarten so I can go half-time, because teaching kindergarten was half-time, and then half-time I would go to the college. I did that for a few years. Because I was going only half-time, it took me longer to go through the college. And I was a teacher anyway, so it wasn't fitting for me to be a teacher at the college. And so they thought I should become a teacher, so they gave me an extra year and extra funding to teach it, learn how to teach, and then teach at the same time. That went on. I thought, okay, I'll teach it. I'll make jewelry in the evening, teach during the day. What a perfect job. And then I quickly realized that when you're teaching, it works all day. By the time the evening comes to try to do my work, there's no energy. So there was no energy. I was too tired to work. So I said, I went to college to do this, and I wanted to do it, but I don't want to be teaching. I want to be doing what I love, what I really fell in love with. So I quit my teaching and became a full-time jeweler. I didn't know any better. I got a good paying teaching job, and decided that I was going to become an artist. And had been doing it for 20 years, and I still have the best job there is. I think it's always changing, but I've been kind of stuck with the snow goggles for a few years, and it's always changing. But lately, I've been stuck with some kind of the same design for a while too, and the snow goggles have been. There's so many ideas that I have that well, traditional and then modern snow goggles that I've been working on, and that's what I've been working on lately, and plan to have a show in June with those ones called the Masquerade Show, and so that's what I've been working on lately, and I've been fascinated by trying to make things differently. So we're finding different materials and paper or silver, and so my plan is to do a masquerade show, and everybody will be wearing different type of goggles, and it would be kind of a masquerade, I guess, with the snow goggles, and that's what I've been doing lately. I can't really talk too much about it because it's going to be kind of a surprise, and then there's so many ideas that I have written, drawn, and it's very hard to keep up with the work. So that's what I'm working on right now, is the snow goggles. Artist influences. In my beginning of my career as an artist, I was lucky enough to work with some great artists. Actually, Great Northern Arts Festival introduced me in 1997 to these amazing artists that I met in Inuit, and I was so impressed with these guys, and they were very confident, and they were working on a big piece also, monuments there, and I worked with them later in 1998, the next year, on the maze for the government of Nunavut. And I met Pamaliki, the sculptor, Inuk Charlie, the gem cutter, and Joseph Soklak, a sculptor from Johaven. And I met them in Inuvik, and they were so amazing. Well, there was lots of amazing artists there. But in 1998, when I was at the meeting in Cape Dorset, there was a big meeting there in 1998. It was for the new government building that was going to be built, and there was going to be a collection committee. And so I was going to be because I was at the college, and people because our college usually involved with some artists in Iqaluit. So they asked me, just before that, we have been trying to start some kind of an association, some kind of committee for art in NWT back then. That was NWT, and late Sam Pitulak, and group of us artists from the Iqaluit would go and have dinner at someone's place and have a kind of a meeting about how can we form a group. We did that a couple times, and then one day we were going to someone's house. It was being hosted by different artists at their house, the meetings. One day we went to someone's house for a meeting. All the lights were off. So, we knew they weren't home. And so that's how that ended the meetings of artist organization, or artist group, association, or artist, group in the country. That ended. So in 1998, there was going to be a meeting, and I was a student and at the college, and so there was going to be a meeting, and I was going to be the chairman of. I was with Upik Pitulak, late son Matak Pitulak, and there was some group of meetings with different groups of artists. Even Nelson was there also for a different meeting. So I'm starting to meet these artists, and so here we were in Cape Dorset, and having a meeting for the, and then I was the chairman, and all these people started coming in, and I started recognizing them from, how from the magazine, Inuit Art Quarterly. I've seen these. Nunavut was coming in. I knew these guys from the magazine, Nunavut and Kanang and all these amazing artists. But New York, they started coming in. I think I was getting really nervous, but they were so nice. We had a great meeting, and we broke into small groups. The meeting, they knew how to have a meeting, and so made my chairing of that meeting very easy with all these artists. Seems like there were hundreds of them coming in because they knew how to work together as a group, and they were all coming in, and I've known them from the magazine. I was getting really nervous, and then the next day we had, after the meeting, I think it might have been the same day even, we had a big dance and feast, and everybody was so nice. That's when my late Sam Pitulak saw my whale sculpture. It was unfinished, but I wanted to bring an artwork that, even though it was not finished, to show that I was also trying to become an artist. And then he asked me if I was willing to work on the mace with them. And because of that metal sculpture, the copper silver sculpture, unfinished piece. I would never bring an unfinished piece now, but back then I was just beginning. I didn't really know any better. So they asked us later. That was the first meeting was about building collection committee. Then we had another few more meetings that we really needed association, Nunavut Arts and Crafts Association. And luckily the NWT people, the government people, supported us, and they got us funding to hire a person for our Nunavut Arts and Crafts Association. That's how we started the Nunavut Arts and Crafts Association, group of us. After the building committee, and so just around that time, they asked me if I knew some people. They wanted the mace to be made by regions of the government, NWT, the Bapan, the Kivaluk, and Kitukmil. So they asked me if I knew some pieces. I met these amazing artists like Pamaliki, Joseph Soklak, and Charlie, and we had an advisor, Mariana Pilatic from Rankin, and then Sam and I were from Baffin. So I worked with these amazing artists. We were in a secret location. My wife didn't know where we were, and so we spent all day, all night for a few months together, and never anything bad word was ever said. And so we spent from November, well, they went home for a bit, and then we continued on until April 1st. And working with these guys was so amazing. They were my heroes, and they had such a quiet confidence. They knew what they were doing, and they really carried me, to work with them. And so had some new great friends, and then saw them again at this Nunavut Sculpting Symposium in '99 also. And so that's when my beginning of my career. And then around that time, we kind of started Nunavut Arts and Crafts Association. And then I knew the Inuit Art Quarterly, And around that time, I was invited to a meeting in Ottawa to go to the Inuit Art Foundation meeting. And so I went to the meeting with them, and then I became on the board of the Inuit Art Foundation. So my art career all kind of started at the same time with the Nunavut Arts and Crafts Association. Well, became a board of the Inuit Art Foundation, and then worked with the Canada Council for the Arts as advisory committee we were starting the officers, Indigenous officers, around that time, like before they had the Indigenous officers there. So we kind of started that, and then so all those, started trickling in, and so that was the beginning of my art career. My work has been, I guess, jewelry, but my goal has always tried to simplify my work. I don't know, it's simple can be difficult, simple, beautiful, and my work I've been trying to make it, how do I say it? The lines, simple lines as much as possible. Just like the land, I guess. But then again, it's not always just simple lines. Life is jagged, rugged, soft, smooth, and but my idea of jewelry, my work, it seems to be the simple lines, simplifying it so it just become merely a line, and that's what I've been trying to make it, simplifying it as much as I can. The magazines, of course, were the ones that were introduction to me, and the amazing artworks that I saw. Something that just made me very proud back then as a young person, that there was such thing as Inuit art that was in the magazine, and it was something that that made me just proud that we're in the magazine, the artwork of Inuit, and later learned that I was going to be on the board of that, and and the magazine was always a beautiful thing, something that we kept, something that we never threw out, and the stories that we heard when we were little being depicted by artists that have never seen anything of that piece, but in the head that they would see it, and then and try to make it real, but trying to imagining how Kalipalik would look like, how a sea monster, how things would look like, that it exists in our minds that we listen to as kids. And that's the fun part. I guess it's about never really growing up. In Inuit terms, it's Sanangwak is pretending to work. And that's what I love about my work. I have a lot to think. I have so much. There's so much. I can't even really explain it. How much support we get from our subscribers are, people that are interested in Inuit art. I found it really amazing that there's actual societies, Inuit art societies. I met them in Vancouver. I met them in Indianapolis. I met them in Hamilton. There's these people, group of people that that love the art and so enthusiastic about it that they're willing to help us out, to help the art, help our Art Foundation by donating, by just encouraging us. It's amazing how without their support we wouldn't be as well to do as I think we would have been. Support is it's huge for us, and sometimes we seem to be so far away up there. It's another world, seems like, but the support from the people down anywhere is it reaches us and make us possible to have maybe probably the second, even if it's not the biggest creator of employment up there, and also the biggest help for the mind, because we know we are being supported with and it keeps us going, and I can't thank them enough. I can't thank our supporters enough, and it means so much. The donors, they sometimes they give so much. It's amazing how much support we get. I guess in our foundation, is the foundation makes quite a bit of sense. Where we have a place to be grounded, and we want to be able to tell stories that we have. The stories that we have through the magazine, and then to support artists, and to be able to show the world that there is some great art. There's some great art that's being done, and we want to show the world that there's very high quality contemporary artwork being done up there, and then we want to be able to Inuit Art Foundation to show it in highest quality possible, and the knowledge that we have, and so it's for the future generation. It's for the future generation. The magazine will be there, and then it will be telling our kids that, there's these stories that have been passed on for thousands of years. And then there's that way, there's another way to, preserve the culture. And so that's, I think, is very important. I think it's a big deal, very, very, very big, very, very. I'm so proud of Isuma. They have always been, doing an amazing job since a long time now, very long, and of course they're world class, very, very world class. No, I never got anything until Isuma. It's the language that they use, so that they preserve, and that's what the whole thing that started. They have done us amazing, and they will for another many years, and I'm so glad that they're going to world. So of course, they have already done the world, but they'll do it there also. So yeah, it's so amazing, and representing, of course, representing our Canada, original Canadians. The impact for Isuma is many times fold. I mean, when I see what they are doing, they're doing it in our language. When some of my age, some of the older people understand it way more than we would understand it in English. And, it's in our language fully there. And the accuracy of what they use when they, depicting the clothing, any stories, just legends, the movies, everything that they have done. There is a Kibitu coming out soon, which is where I didn't know too much about because I grew up in that area and named after some people that died while trying to coming back from that place, moving into because they were relocated there. And so they have carried, love, everything, so much about that, and then that also that emotional part that will be seen on the 7th, I guess, in Iqaluit, that will be screened, and so this is going to be quite emotional, I think, for us from that area, and they have, made sure that our culture is preserved, and the work that they have done is probably the best thing I've seen. Yeah.